Are your cats not getting along? If you're thinking about hiring a cat behavior consultant to help you work through an introduction or reintroduction, but you're not sure what to expect, this video is for you. Hear what people have to say about working with me.
Why did you choose to reach out to work with a professional?
I was following Joey's advice for doing everything, and then
Mhm.
at the end of the videos, he says, talk to a professional.
Tessa said, "You can search online, but the recommended steps don't always work. Sometimes the situation is more complicated. I needed help from a real person who could understand what's going on and help come up with ideas for my individual cats."
We had a resident cat, Trixie. She is 5 years old. And we recently had adopted a kitten named Spike.
We wanted him as a companion to Trixie so that like
Mhm.
while we were gone, they would have each other.
Just nothing went to plan. And we were at a total loss of like what to do next, how to get them to get along. And we were at like a bad place of them fighting.
We were like, okay, we
Mm.
need to consult an expert.
Yeah.
We ran out of internet solutions.
Yeah.
Describe the situation before we started working together. Becca and her partner Keegan had a resident 13-year-old cat named Burmy. They had always wanted to have multiple cats, so they adopted a young adult cat, Honey, who had a history of getting along well with other cats at the rescue she came from. But once they brought her home, Honey was constantly meowing for attention. Honey tried to chase Burmy and share her favorite resting areas, and Burmy wasn't having it. She was becoming more irritable and stressed.
I was crying every night. She wouldn't let me sleep. There was never peace anywhere in the house.
Tessa was living in a one-bedroom apartment with her resident adult cat, Anna. She adopted another young adult female, Mint. The two cats played together and mostly respected each other's space. But after Mint got spayed, their relationship deteriorated. Mint would chase Anna, and Anna was visibly stressed.
Spike was very, very timid, absolutely terrified of Trixie. Was like constantly hiding. Trixie, on the other hand, like could not let him do anything. Anytime he would like walk across the room, just like that prey drive would click in, and she would have to sprint after him. And like, or even I think that she even wanted to like engage or play, and she just could not disengage at all, or even like understand Spike's hissing to back off. She would just keep at it. And Spike, poor Spike, just there was no relief for him at all.
Yeah. And like, I mean, even on occasion, it would be like bad fights, like cartoon tornado fight where like limbs are flying and fur is flying. And obviously we would separate them, but it was like we couldn't leave them alone together, like safely.
How long did the introduction process take once we started working together?
Becca and Keegan had been working on introducing Honey and Burmy for 2 months already. We worked together for 4 months. Since then, the cats have gotten to a point where they can tolerate each other. The whole process took about 6 months. For Tessa, it had been 2 months since Mint's space surgery. We worked together for 4 months. Over that time, we saw a lot of improvement as the cats learned skills to help them interact with each other better. 3 months later, Tessa reached out to share an update. It turned out that Anna had ongoing digestive health issues. Once that was addressed, the cats went back to being friends. Andy and Josh had been attempting to introduce their kitten, Spike, to their resident adult cat, Trixie. They'd been working on it for 3 months already before they came to me. I worked with them for 5 months, so the whole process took about 8 months. It took longer because they needed to take a break over the holidays. Still, they shared that once they were able to reset their cat's relationship back to neutral and then positive, progress happened quickly. How are things now?
It didn't take long before things started getting better for you, right?
Yeah, it was like after the first session, I think we slept through the whole night.
Thanks to some enrichment for Honey, she isn't demanding attention all the time. Now they have a more regular routine that includes training. They set up the environment to minimize competition and prevent fighting. They're also working on ways to reduce stress for Burmy and make sure she's comfortable. Burmy tolerates Honey, and Honey respects her body language and personal space. Anna and Mint are back to the way they were. They rub up against each other and take turns initiating play.
Now Spike is just strutting his stuff everywhere, constantly, like has his tail in the air, just is super happy. He definitely feels comfortable going in any place of our home. He'll like nap out in the open on like the couch.
He seems
And
very
then,
happy and relaxed, I would say.
yeah. And even Trixie too, like she has, I guess, given up on like hunting him, but she will still try to like play with him. They'll still like play in their own special way. If Spike gets overwhelmed now, he'll like kind of hiss or like vocalize. Trixie like backs off. She's like, okay, I'll go do something
Amazing.
else. And she can
Yes.
disengage. Or even like if she's laying on one side of the room and Spike's still a kitten, so he gets the zoomies and like goes turbo mode. But like he can do that freely and it won't like drive Trixie to sprint after him.
Yay. Oh my gosh. That's a
It
huge
is.
change from where we started. So what things do you think really made the biggest difference for you?
The enrichment toys, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think reframing, I was like, she is doing all these things because she's so mean to me. And I was like, actually, she's smart and just really bored. I didn't realize that she wanted to play. So yeah, the enrichment toys helped a lot. And learning the tricks, like the 1, 2, 3, come back trick.
Tessa said she appreciated having an opportunity to talk things through and come up with ideas together. She had observed her cat's behavior, but there were patterns she hadn't connected. The slow progression to visual exposure really made a difference. She said she had been trying to go too fast.
I think your push to like really find a way to separate them, and like you were so helpful with that too, of like different types of gates we can get or like different ways to like block off vision for them. That definitely got us on the right path. I think in the beginning we were kind of like they'll work it out on their own or kind of establish some sort of pecking order, but that was getting us nowhere.
Yeah.
And you were like, you have to separate them. Here's how we can do it. Here's even like an extra layer of separation if they need it. So separating them and committing to having them separated for a long time until we felt like we had kind of neutral interactions happening. That was the big thing.
Also like identifying when was the most like high stress for them or when it was like, the most like when they would often fight. Like it's funny because it seems so simple, but like we hadn't thought of it.
And then just being really clear about like what to look for, like what is a bad interaction, what's a good interaction. Because once we were able to like kind of allow them to interact, knowing what to look for and like what to reward has just like exponentially improved their relationship of just being able to like be like, oh wait, they're having a good moment, get the treats out.
I had never heard of like training games for a cat. Spike is very like food motivated, so it was pretty easy to get him to play those games with us. And I think it kind of almost helped him relax, but it still was like fun for him to like have something to do with us, aside from just like playing with the toy. And then for Trixie, when it's worked and we've had to make some adjustments because she's not like that treat or food motivated, but we found other ways to
reward her.
Reward her. Like I feel like that has honestly made a huge difference with Trixie.
Yeah, even still like the ongoing support aspect of it, of like having the multiple check-in points. It's so worth investing in this to have an ongoing relationship with someone like you help us out, because you can't learn it all in one sitting, and being able to like email you or like come back and check in, like that's just been so invaluable. The advice that you gave to was so specific to our situation and like our apartment, our cats, even like our being out of town at certain things, and like how to handle our lives around the cats. Like you just can't get that from anything else.
What advice would you give to someone if they're considering hiring a cat behavior consultant?
I think that like anyone who is on the fence about it, you should do it. Like you'll learn so much more about like your cat's body language or even like how to enrich their lives I wish we would have done it like when we first got Spike and just started on the right path. Just like the relief that we had, even with starting to work with you, was so worth it as well.
And you gave us like great confidence too, because it was like, well,
Definitely.
we know like this is actually for our situation.
It's worth it because you're going to tell me things that I haven't thought about. Like you'll point out something in the way that my cats are moving, and I'm like, I've had her for 13 years and I'd never noticed that.
Cat introductions take time. We're talking months in most cases. After all, you're helping the cats build a relationship. Reintroductions take even longer because you're trying to repair the relationship after the cats have had a negative experience. You wouldn't just see a marriage counselor once and expect you could take it from there on your own. You also wouldn't expect them to lay out the whole plan for you step by step from the start. And it's similar with cat behavior consulting. We can have an overall direction, but we're not going to be able to give you the whole written out plan from the get-go because it depends on how the first step goes. And we need to expect that we can pivot accordingly. If you decide you want to attempt a reintroduction, it's best to work with a professional cat behavior consultant. Be aware that it's going to take time, and we can't guarantee the outcome. In some cases, the best we can hope for is that the cats will tolerate or avoid each other and not cause each other stress. If you ultimately decide that the reintroduction process is taking too long or it's too much work, there's no shame in admitting that. It might be easier to keep the cats in separate areas of your home long term, or you might consider rehoming one of the cats. Rehoming a cat doesn't make you a bad person if you're doing what's best for the cats. I'll share one of my favorite stories. A friend of mine took in an orphaned kitten she found outside. She brought him into her one-room tiny house. It's literally one room. The bed is in the loft. There's no doors within the house. And her resident 2-year-old cat freaked out, hissing and growling at the intruder. My friend reached out to me to see if I could help with the introduction. After talking things through, she realized that introducing this new kitten into her home would be really challenging, given that she lives in a small space and her resident cat had really big feelings upon seeing the kitten. She decided instead to let her daughter, who lives nearby, adopt the kitten. He stayed in the family and everyone is happy. To learn more about working with me, check out my website, fellowcreaturespets.com. Thanks for watching.